This is part 3 of a simple framework for healthy eating. And in the first 2 parts, we covered eating more healthy fats like avocado, fatty fish, nuts, and seeds. We talked about eating more vegetables, especially brightly colored vegetables and fruits, and to add more fiber and phytonutrients into your diet. And we talked about eating more real food. And when you do have to eat processed food, to try and choose the minimally processed food that you can and how to do that. So in this final piece of the framework, we're going to talk about, now that we've added all these healthy things to our diet, we can displace some of the less healthy things. And in this case, what we're going to focus on, refined carbohydrates, but particularly added sugars. And the reason we're going to do this is that we're eating way more sugar than we have in past times. And if you were to look at a graph of sugar consumption from the 1800s to present, you see how it's vastly increased the amount of sugar per person per year that's being eaten. And in fact, the average person today is eating 5 to 10 times the amount of sugar that your great-grandparents would have eaten. And for a lot of people, I know they're thinking, well, I don't add a lot of sugar to my food. But the food system is very good at sneaking it into your body when you're not looking. And there's 2 primary ways that you're getting it in there. One is through sugary drinks, and the other is through processed foods that you buy. And the way this increased sugar consumption is manifesting itself in our population is that 7 of the 10 leading causes of death are now linked directly to increased sugar consumption. So that's obesity, diabetes, stroke, fatty liver, hypertension, certain types of cancer, and Alzheimer's and other dementias. So those are all increasing in the population as the sugar consumption is increasing. And so simplest way to start to eliminate this from your diet is to get rid of the sugary beverages. And this is, not just soda pop, but sugared sports drinks, specialty coffees, and fruit juices, even sweetened smoothies. So these things can have enormous amounts of sugar in them. And because they're in liquid form, they don't need to digest. The sugar goes right into your bloodstream as soon as you drink it. And that can cause some real problems. And I think if I were to tell people that, there are 46 grams of sugar in an average 500 milliliter pop, I don't think that would surprise people. That's about a little over 11 teaspoons of sugar. And you get roughly about the same in, a sugar coffee beverage like this one. And this is a slightly smaller bottle, but it has pretty much the same amount of sugar as the pop did. But what might surprise people is if you were to choose this, especially if you choose this to give to your children, there are 9 teaspoons of sugar in this relatively small bottle of apple juice. So juices can be really high in sugar too. And if you want to really get into concern, you can look at something like a large vanilla ice cap from Tim Hortons, in which case, the ice cap, you would be having all of these sugars, and a few extra. So you're getting an enormous amount of sugar that you can drink relatively quickly. And how much sugar is a lot of sugar? Well, for reference, you could ask how much sugar would the average person have in their bloodstream at any one time, and the answer is about that much. So, you're putting 10, 20 times that amount into your bloodstream rapidly when you drink some sugary beverages. So it's best to stick with drinking black coffee, tea, water, really anything that is unsweetened. The other thing we can talk about quickly is the other way sugar gets into your system is in some of the foods you buy. So obviously it's in pastries and cookies and cake and stuff like that. It's in a lot of the snack foods. It's in sugary breakfast cereals, but there are other places that you wouldn't necessarily expect it. For example, I think almost all the breads that you'll get in most stores contain sugar. Condiments like ketchup contains sugar. Sauces like barbecue sauce, salad dressings, So really what you have to do in each and every case when you're buying a processed food that has a nutritional label on it, you need to flip it around, look at the serving size, and figure out how much sugar are you actually going to be eating. Because the Canada Food Guide recommends that people keep their sugar consumption to about 10% of their overall calories, about a 2,000 calorie diet. That means you'd be getting about, 10 to 12 teaspoons of added sugar a day. And you're getting more than that in some of these drinks. And the World Health Organization is recommending half that amount would be a better guideline. So that's where the levels are going to go down eventually in the recommendations. So to quickly run through the framework again, eat more healthy fats, eat your vegetables and fruits, and especially bright colors of all kinds, eat more real food, try to avoid those processed foods that have lots of ingredients and man-made chemicals that you don't know what they are, and try to not drink sugary beverages and not eat processed foods that have a lot of added sugar. And if you do all this, you should, increase your chances of living healthy life longer. And I hope all of this has been useful to you. I thank you very much for watching, and maybe I'll see you again next time.